This week we're still talking about control, in specific about how the genderization of architecture and interior design has impeded some women's careers. In particular, Eileen Gray, who was not only a furniture designer who was incredibly influential in creating a kind of a modern aesthetic around furniture design and interiors, but also, and for me, much more significantly, the design of houses and particularly interiors and how they would be organic places that were very concerned with how the outside world is impacting the inside. By that I mean, we can use this example, at her beautiful E1027 house, which we're looking at, she plotted out exactly where the sun was going to be during the day as it crossed the sky. House is designed along the Mediterranean in the south of France, and she wanted every room to have a special relationship with the sun and with the outside around it and with the views of the Mediterranean. And it's a beautiful place. Fell into disrepair for decades and decades. It's recently been restored, and she, her career has been restored really along with it, because for many decades, many male architects tried to create a mythology around this place that she didn't actually design it, that it was more designed by Jean Badavici, the owner, which is not true. She designed it with his input, or in many cases, some people believe that Le Corbusier designed it, who was known to both of them. They were all friends, and we're looking at pictures of them here in the module. But no, that's not true. Le Corbusier was jealous of this place, tried to buy it, bought a shack next door just so he could look at it. Eileen Gray is the architect of this place and deserves all of the credit. So we're really talking about this idea of control, of how not just how men try to control women's careers in the profession, but what I'm more interested in is what is produced out of the power relationship around control. Penner talks about it in her reading The World of Unmentionable Suffering as it applies to lavatories. What kinds of tensions, what kinds of social interactions are produced around this notion of control, particularly gendered control. So that's what I want us to think about. Frank Gehry's known for this story. The architect Frank Gehry is known for this story about when he designed the Disney Theater in Los Angeles without telling the client. He inserted larger and more lavatory space for women because he knew that they always had to line up and the men never did. And he didn't tell anyone about it. He just sort of, as he says, he snuck it in there. And he kind of tries to make himself sound like the great hero in this story. But this is a good example of what happens around issues of control. The client trying to control him, and he's trying to control the design and what he wants or what he thinks people want, particularly women. And, what winds up happening is a certain kind of space gets designed out of issues of this back and forth juggling of power and control. And that's what I think we need to be thinking about this week.